Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Games Tavern Happy Hour. Unfortunately, our normal host, Mac, is out for handling some personal business, but we're taking over the reins just today. We're going to do a little fireside chat kind of style thing today. Today, our discussions are on how using props in your games. And of course, at the end in the second half, we're going to discuss a little bit about how far we've come in just under 6 months as a network, as a multi-channel show network, and as a team, as a cast and crew, and what kind of a little bit of what we've learned, just the two of us. The great part about this particular situation is we have two people from two different shows on right now, so it's great. So my co-host Corey is here today, and of course I'm Reed. Dungeon Master Reed on Whiskey, Magic, and Destruction. Corey, what are you on normally? Yeah. Outstanding, outstanding. We're also going to be taking. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, excellent, excellent. And hold on a minute. I'm getting a word that they cannot hear you. So give me 1 second. Let me make sure of what they can hear. Discord audio. Checking that real quick. Interesting. We're going to just do that, and we're going to do this. I love it because, part of what we had to do to make this happen, for those of you who can hear me still, is we had to figure out a way to move the overlay from Mac's system over here. So he sent me all the overlays, but I didn't get all the sound settings, so and which has to be custom on my side anyway. So I kind of messed this up a little bit. But let's see what we can do with that. Can y'all hear him now? No, you cannot. No, they're not. I get an output typically that shows when I see that. So bear with us, guys. We're going to figure this out in just 2 seconds. Shouldn't be that hard. We've done this before. We're streaming professionals. See how far we've come in 5 or 6 months as we botch up sound. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. Hold on 1 second. Let me see what I can do here. I think I'm going to change the settings on Discord as well. See if that pulls it up. Okay. No, he can't. So we'll just kill this. And try one other thing here, and then we may have to bump and restart Discord here, if that's the case. I think maybe, but we'll see. I don't think that's the case though. Anything? No. Try one other setting here. Try it now. No. No. Blame Nightbot. That's what always does it for me. Try now. Hold on here. How about now? Nope. You'd think we know what we're doing or something. Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right, guys. We're gonna try one thing real quick. Stand by. We're gonna boot out of Discord and come right back here in just 1 second. Yeah, I don't want everybody to bump out of Discord real quick, actually. And this is why we have a tech crew who normally makes sure we look good so that I don't actually mess stuff up. unfortunately, that's just one of the things that happens here. Okay, back in. Check those settings. Let me pull up. I can hear you, but I'm not sure why the standard audio output capture is not working, because if I can hear you, you should be able to be pulled into the system. He said I have to repeat everything he says for the entire show. I'm just going to be his echo now. That's what he just said. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I don't know why it's not picking up. This is really weird. We got you now. We got you now. Boom.
I am Reed's descent into madness.
Thank you for everybody in chat who've been yes. So as I was saying, I'm DM Reed, and this is my co-host Corey. We're on two different shows. Corey, you want to start over and tell them what show you're on?
Sure. Yeah, I'm on Wednesday. I'm on the Valken Weave. I play Eldon, the country boy halfling druid. Yeah.
Yeah, and I play the Dungeon Master on Whiskey, Magic, and Destruction. I sometimes do that minis paint show, and I appear in other places as needed on one-shots or wherever people tell me they need me. And you do too, Eldon. You show up in one-shots occasionally.
Yeah, we both done one-shots at this point, yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been fun, yeah.
So one of the things we want to start off with is talking about using props in your games. So, I mean, you can see behind me we have props. You know, this is actually a real shield made of metal. It's not plastic. It's the real deal. Oh, and you've got wear that you wear, right? So
yeah, serendipity that you got me for this episode.
Yeah, the guy who wears the prop all the time. And so a couple things with these props is there's a number of different ways, and there's a number of different things that can be props. It can be a physical thing like the hat or something else along those lines, like clothing for cosplay. It can be objects that you hand to the characters that they actually have to see. That could be fun for puzzles if you're at all around the table. It can be various different accoutrements that they see or things that they read. Go ahead.
You can even break it down simpler than that. That having maps and minis are really the most basic prop that a lot of DMs commonly use in their games. And while props is typically thought of as something that the DM introduces, obviously players can as well, through outfits and various, accessories.
Yeah, I have a rule. If you're going to have a familiar and you're going to use it, you have to have a miniature to represent it. This cuts down on two things. It cuts down on crazy familiars that people request because now they have to do something with it. But
you got to commit.
Also, if someone's doing something with their familiar, I can at least see it physically if they're using a miniature for it on the table, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then some of the other things that are out there is music, and other things to create that immersive experience as well, sound effects, stuff like that. Yeah. So we can talk about
mood lighting, even. Anything you can bring to the real life table that's supposed to be evocative of their imaginary scenario.
Absolutely. The other thing I'll bring up. Oh, this is being. I just want to say this to the chat real quick. I noticed that the subs are actually using some of our really cool new emotes that have been dropped. So a big thank you to Regi on the Discord server for helping produce some amazing high quality emotes for our show. It's been a real treat to have such a high quality emote batch, and we loaded a bunch of them based on our sub status, and we're only 10 subs away, I think, from hitting the next emote release point. So we'll get some more emotes, and we'll let all of you guys vote on the next emote, whichever one it is. So, and we have a variety that you can pick from, as well as some other ones. If somebody comes with a brand new idea, we'll commission it.
Very
So
cool. Very cool.
back to props. What are some of the props that you like to use, Ori?
Well, I mean, obviously there's the cowboy hat, right?
Mhm.
Been doing that. I grew up in Texas, and while I'm not there anymore, I the when I decided to play Eldon as well, I decided to play a druid, and I decided to play Eldon. I decided to make him a country boy. So I got myself a cowboy hat because I'm a terrible Texan. I didn't already have one. I did. I
Yeah.
did order this and got it, but it's a perfect hat, really. That's great. Just as a player, having those little things can help you be kind of bring an immersive quality to it. Like I went out into the backyard and just got like a piece of dried grass from a dried, long old dried leaf from the shrub
Mhm.
to just,
Yeah.
and it,
Yeah.
and it gives us, it makes you feel a certain way. And when you're playing a character that's very different from yourself, that can help bring that
Set the
out.
tone.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
can. Yeah.
I find that just as another aside of getting that immersive experience and using props is I very rarely, when I'm playing a character, which I only get to do in one shots or when you guys can't hit,
Hmm.
is obviously you guys know I do voices and stuff like that and accents and stuff like that, but part of that is as a dungeon master, I have to be all the NPCs, but even when I'm a character, I do like to dress up a little bit or add something to that effect. So the voices and stuff. But the big thing I don't like to do is refer to myself in third person. What Ren
Yeah.
likes to do now when I'm playing a character. Now, as a dungeon master, everything's in third person when you describe it to everybody else because that's what they're seeing, right? But when
Right.
you're playing the character, Ren's gonna do that. Now, I just say I do the following. I run up and I do the following because then it's me. It's me doing it. I'm part of this role, and I take it in there.
Yeah, I hear you. I think the only time I ever make exceptions to that is when it's going to be a long, drawn out story that I just want to abbreviate. I think, like, well, Eldon tells us really boring stories from his childhood on the ranch, and you just to get a point across. Not that you need to, not when everybody needs to know the details of it, but just kind of get the point across.
Yeah, I didn't know you could tip sheep too.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those exciting things to do and accents don't have to, or voices and accents don't have to be the way you do it. You can have catchphrases if you can't do voices and stuff like that too. Like,
Oh yeah, like a great example of that, I think, from some of the, I guess, the D&D zeitgeist is Scott Kurtz, when he played with Penny Arcade, played a dwarven barbarian Benwyn Bronzebottom. He still plays this character, just in other things now. He did not do any kind of, he didn't try and force any kind of dwarven, Scottish accent, Mac. But he made ridiculous catchphrases for Benwyn. One of them literally was just yelling catchphrase whenever he charged into battle.
and catchphrase. Yeah,
Just
exactly.
shout. Yeah, and they're very, very famous too for using props on set. Because they did almost all their games live stream at events, and they would get more elaborate and have full costumes and everything like that.
Do you think that's something that we may end up going into?
Full costumes? I
Not
don't
all
know.
the time. Maybe on live play events. Maybe
Yeah,
we get invited somewhere one day if we ever get like internet famous. Maybe one day.
I think that would be special occasion. But like,
Yeah.
Michelle on the stream also has a little mantle that she wears sometimes for
Mhm.
for Doliris, her cleric. Uh, I know Josh used the extra filters when we switched over to doing online play very suddenly. Josh started bringing in the Snapcam filters to add a little extra to Quentin.
The little mustache.
In the facial hair department. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree with it.
That's a great choice.
And Mac's Scottish accent for his dwarf is actually, I think, stellar in terms of him playing that character. He's a southern well, no reveals, but he's a southern kind of dwarf.
He's totally committed to it, and I love it.
He totally is. He's committed to it, like, completely. So it's like I had played a character in a one shot recently, and one of the things I do is I put together a list of catchphrases to remember to say, so I can go through some of them over and over again, so that they show up. And some of them are By Lathander's light, I think you're onto something. Good God, what in the nine hells was that? Brusselthorpe Octavius, acquisition specialist at your service. Give it a good thwopping. I'll thank Mac for that one because he said it and I started to write it down. And I just started using it for that character.
Right.
That smells worse than a Luskan sewer. What in the sphere of Toril was that? Because, hey.
Spheres. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
So just having some phrases you can sprinkle in there.
It's a little twist on common sayings here that, puts them in another world. It's great.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So that's actually one of the things I like to do. What are some of the catchphrases that you've used?
I reckon so. Any using the word I reckon, the phrase I reckon in any sort of way is very that's actually very much inspired by my grandfather, my pawpaw, who was just a good old boy from the country, and I think I channel him a lot when I play Eldon, and that I use a lot of phrases or a lot of turns of phrases that he would use. Because despite growing up in Texas my whole life, I really don't have, at least I don't think I have a strong accent, other than I say y'all all the time. But I really channel some of my family that are more rural.
Yeah, and we both grew up down south, so we kind of have a feel for that too. That kind of style, or at least for part of the life. And then for part of my life, I grew up in Chicago, so I picked up. I learned how to basically use funny accents thanks to living in a couple different places and traveling.
I learned it all just from watching Comedy Central religiously as a child. Just all the different stand-up comedians and various just comedy skit shows was where I picked up all the accents from. It's just being a big comedy fan as a kid. That's where I just learned it all from. And
same here. Same here. I was big on comedy. We'll talk about that in the second half. I think a lot more. We'll break into that. So, like I'll wear leather bracers on my arms, stuff like that. But what are some of the physical items that you've seen in some of your games, Corey?
From DM or player perspective, you think?
Both ways, yeah.
I mean, handouts are a great thing, and often the easiest prop a DM can produce is any kind of handwritten letter. And it doesn't even have to be handwritten. There's literally fonts for everything that can make it look super handwritten or
for example,
unreadable cursive. Exactly. Handouts are great. That's, Beetle and Grimm's is really capitalizing on that market these days with the handout. The box is full of handouts for published adventures.
But you can totally make your own. Like we made this one with
really
just a font and parchment paper, and the added thing is, if you see here, we had a wax seal on it at one point that was perfect and stamped to match. And
yeah, you can order custom made wax seals relatively cheap. Sealing wax, you don't even have to get sealing wax. I bet you if you've got a candle in your house, you've got wax good enough to get the job done.
Although sealing wax does look really darn good.
Oh yes,
the color is vivid.
Admittedly, yes. And you can get antiqued paper. You can either literally antique it yourself with tea leaves, which my wife has done on several of her own projects, or get pre-antiqued paper from any hobby store like Michael's.
You can order it online now too. That's been the great thing.
Also,
punch in parchment, and you can get your pick of colors right now.
Reams of it. Yeah. Ordering online is pretty much the way we kind of have to do things. But when you can go out to stores, it's available. It's just, you don't have to literally dig through family heirlooms to try and find old looking paper. It's easy to find.
Absolutely.
And all that stuff feeds through your printer. You can find fonts that'll replicate any kind of script.
And our very own Chris Mack, who's unable to actually broadcast today, just let us know that office supply stores also carry parchment sometimes. But you can very often find it. I
didn't know that. Fantastic.
This is actually parchment paper I bought like 10 years ago, and I've never gone through all of them for some of the games that I've run.
Just antiquing it further.
Yeah. And then one of the other cool things that I discovered is these. So you can pick these up in different places, and they're actually like document scroll cases and stuff like that. And then I have several different versions. This is the one we showed the first time. Now, I don't recommend you pick them up the way I did, because I picked all these up in Afghanistan when I was out there deployed with the Army. But this
Probably
is no, I don't. No, it was not. No. I mean, to be honest with you, Afghanistan was for very peaceful for a lot of the time I was there. Except for the bad guys who kept trying to launch missiles at us. But this was such a beautiful piece that I had to pick it up immediately. But you can find these online. You can order them. There's different styles. There's some Asian styles. This one's a very, let's say, Indian style, Pakistani style maybe. But they look so antique and so fantastical that it's unbelievable what you can find when you just do a quick little search for stuff like this. Let's see. Maps. Sometimes it's good. I don't always give complete maps. Hold on one second. I'm going to bring something back here in just a second. I'm going to show a way I did something with maps. Can you talk a little bit about maps that you use?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I run a lot of published adventures with my own home games, and yes, I have bought into D&D Beyond. I do love it, but one of the things that D&D Beyond does do is it gives you both the player map and the DM map, and even in like the book for a lot of the adventures, you don't always get copies of both of those in the book, something that you can show the player and keep for yourself. But every single map on D&D Beyond has both the GM version and a player version that you can download and show to your players. I found very useful in running my own adventures at home.
Exactly. And to add to that, I'm going to pull out some odds and ends here. One of the greatest things that you can do with maps is add to them. So when we did some various things where people found, I'm going to make sure you guys can see it with all its vividness. So, there's existing maps that you may recognize, but we took some parts of it off. It was burned off.
Seems familiar.
But there's other things added to it. And then on top of that, there was stuff on the back and messages cut off. So there's not just a map, but clues within that create story. You can see where the map had been folded previously by the previous owner. You can see, where it was burned. And the reason why it was burned when the characters found it was fortuitous, because it actually happened because the characters hit the bad guy with a fireball.
Well, when you have a wizard in the party, that's nearly a guarantee that that's going to happen.
Well, yeah. Sometimes a good DM knows how to predict what's probably going to happen. And you can do the same thing with photographs or artwork that you find that we took and we burned. But putting it onto a parchment-like paper allows you to print it up and use it in a way that's very useful for adding to the adventure considerably.
So did you just print like the official Neverwinter maps onto parchment paper for that?
Yeah, some of them. And then in some cases we have some other props that they find that's also on parchment paper, slightly different maps, additional information. I don't want to reveal too much, but there's.
So I was just wondering how well printers printed on that, but it looks great. So I'm assuming it did really well, despite it not being white paper. It looks like it printed really well.
Yeah, I mean it's as if yellowed aged paper had occurred. So that could be an ancient map that they find. You can burn different parts of it out. You can water it to ruin parts of it too. You're almost spoiled for choices of ways you can ruin things for clues. You know what I mean?
Followed up a handful of times and flattened.
I have some that have been wrinkled thoroughly. Let's see what else I've got in here in my bag of tricks that I can just pull out without revealing anything from what's coming out. So.
I mean, parchment paper makes it look old, but if it's still like a pristine flat paper,
and just to kind of give you an example between two different types of parchment, like here's the yellowed parchment, and then side by side with that, here's another prop that we created, was a wanted poster. So the yellow parchment, and you have this gray white mottled parchment as well. we just used some existing stuff and created some wanted posters so the characters
Nice.
could have something they could look at and refer back to. And as we describe certain things, if they're thinking, they'll pick up on various clues, for different people that may or may not show up again. Or, sometimes I also create extras because you also got to put some noise in there. You want people thinking harder for some of that stuff.
Yeah, the wanted poster shenanigans that happened in that one episode were amusing.
Oh, yeah. I forget which episode that was. Was that episode 3? Was that
just a couple weeks ago?
4? Yeah, it seems like it.
Time has no meaning. Who knows?
Exactly. What are some other ones that you use? Did you ever use anything for like magic items or anything like that?
I got minis to represent spell effects, but for like actual items, I don't think I've ever actually grabbed item. No, I may hear thumping on the ceiling in a minute, telling my wife telling me I'm wrong, but I don't think I've actually given out physical items that represent magic items before.
Okay, I've seen.
No, she's not making any noise, so I don't think.
Why would she stomp on the floor? She can just type it in chat.
I don't know, because that'll get my attention faster. Because I got chat on a separate screen.
Okay.
Cards? I have. She says I have.
I'm seeing people. If it's not in Verdana font, I'm not reading it. Oh, that's funny. Let's see here. Destruction is always easier than creation. Yes, burning and ruining things. The Mac mentions he was in a campaign where the PCs had to solve a puzzle using food. The GM rolled out a cart of the actual food and took notes as we descended on it.
Oh, that's
fantastic.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
I think, was it Adgern actually has props because his character particularly uses like runes for his magic, like kind of a dwarven spin on that. And one of the interesting,
cool.
and one of the cool things is he's got actual runes from a different game set that is just absolutely amazing.
Is it that Viking game you were telling me about earlier, Mac?
Probably.
It probably was.
There is, with his luck, yeah.
Because I picked it up and it said something about runes in it. So
that sounds like Mac. Yeah, it is. It is. Yes, Mac says yes. What was the name of the game, Mac? He'll tell us in a minute. I know he's watching.
I can pull up my email because I literally I bought that bundle that he was talking about. Treasure chest. Now I've gotten magic item cards, never actual items though. That's what I think my wife threw in. Fate of the Norns. There we go.
What was the full name of the game?
Ragnarok, Fate of the Norns.
Okay. Highly recommend it. So treasure chests are easy to pick up. You can pick them up at any craft store. And then all we did was stain it dark brown. And then sometimes when you really want to mess with your players, you put another treasure chest inside that's also stained. And then you have something inside. I will not open this one.
Just Russian doll that shit?
Oh, dude, it totally makes their day. When they pick one lock and then get in, and then they find out they got to pick another.
Treasure chest all the way down.
Treasure chest, yeah. And yeah, there may be another one that's a mimic. You never know. Definitely.
On the inside, and on the very inside the chest, is a single gold coin. That's a mimic.
It's a mimic, and it's gonna bite your finger, and it's gonna hurt like hell.
No, it doesn't attack. It eats all your gold coins in your bag.
Oh, that's genius.
That's a great idea, right?
Genius. It's a mimic of devouring.
Yeah, it's terrible. Frightening.
So, what else have you used? Have you used besides hats? What all have you used?
Hats for playing, because I've mostly DM'd up until very recently. In fact, right now I think I do actually have more games I'm playing in than DMing.
Nice change of pace for you, isn't it?
Technically. Oh, no. I started doing a Wild Mount campaign for a couple of friends from back home. So, no, I think I'm still back to 3 DM, 2 playing.
Corey.
Yeah.
And you paint miniatures too.
And I paint minis too. The distance learning has given me a little more free time. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. I get it.
Just wait till actual June comes around. I'm going to be a very prolific painter again, even more so.
Mm-hmm. I feel you, man.
But minis are a great prop. Just even the pre-painted ones are great, but when a player can get a chance to actually create their own mini for their PC,
Matches their colors they like, everything.
give them all the touches they like, exactly. Give them the exact color scheme they want, the items they want. That is a point of pride for players, right there. Is getting there, and not even getting in, not even doing it themselves necessarily. Of course, that's a separate point of pride, but just having that mini made to spec. Really gives a sense of ownership, I think, that isn't necessarily going to be there initially, that you can kind of foster that earlier. Having that detailed mini exactly how you imagine it, which is, one of those reasons things like Hero Forge are so popular, is that you can make your mini look exactly like you want. And I have Eldon's mini. I have not painted him yet, and I don't have a good reason why. But I have his mini that I got on Hero Forge.
Well, maybe we should do a tag team on that mini's paint show.
I think that's partially the reason. Waiting to do it on.
I think we can
TMS.
arrange that.
Yeah.
I think we can arrange that. Yeah.
And also, since we've gone digital right now, we're not using the minis, so there hasn't been an extra motivating force to get the painted mini on the table yet, because there's not a table to put them on just yet.
What kind of props do you think you can use for online play? You do a fair amount of online play too.
I'm only doing online play right now.
Well, I mean, all of us, but I mean, like you did before too.
Yeah, any games with friends back home have all been online. It's used well. Then it's been using a lot of like digital maps and art that you can drop into chat or into the various sources, virtual tabletops like Fantasy Grounds and Roll20, each of them giving you varying degrees of ease in loading your own art and maps and things. Some of them are pickier about some things than others, but that was a different show.
Right.
So,
Did you
individual tokens, unique battle maps, art you can put up for things. Those are all still available to you, just in a virtual format.
Totally. I see Arcline 1963. I'm trying to figure out if I'm subconsciously creating characters to match the minis I painted in the 80s. I have 3 characters for campaign in the past year. It turned out I had suitable painted mini for each of them. That's hang on to those minis, Arcline 1963. That's going to be an important thing. Something Semio Freud.
Something.
Sigmund Freud. Yeah. One of the coolest props that I've seen lately has been, actually there's 2 different ones. There's the Taraka deck. I'm a big fan of the Taraka deck.
The Taraka deck is great.
It's great.
Another reason why Curse of Strahd is one of the best published adventures put out in 5th edition. It's maybe the best.
It's a standalone game as well, by the way.
It's easily in the top 2 or 3.
Yeah. The standalone game is nice, but then you don't have to play Curse of Strahd to use it. I mean, the card art is. I mean, this is the warrior, for example. Let me get the camera. The warrior, as an
I'll
example.
admit I have bought one, but I never opened it up, and I gave it to the person I thought was going to DM the game. But he didn't. And if he ever sees this, he'll know I'm still bitter about it.
And yeah, and then the Beast, for example, and you can literally put on your best fortune teller voice and just pull out 4 cards, and that somehow becomes entwined in the story, and people start panicking, especially if like the traitor gets pulled, nice. Or if because
this is really just a unique tarot deck, right? This is
every card is different, and you can shuffle them up, or if you're
unique.
yeah, if you know you're going to pull a plot point somewhere as a dungeon master, you can rig the deck a little bit. But I've definitely done that and scared the hell out of a couple different characters. Like, let's talk about your fortune, shall we?
No. I'm a big supporter of rigging the deck for decks like that. Taraka deck, for example, like DM Pond is running Curse of Strahd for a couple of us.
Yeah, DM Pond on the tech crew, and she's also shown up in some of our one-shots, too.
Yeah, she's running Curse of Strahd for some of us from the Games Tavern on Saturday nights, and love her for it. She's doing an amazing job, and she does a great ambiguously Eastern European / Russian impression for all these folks. And bless her for trying to make every single person unique too. She's doing a bang up job. I love it. And she did our reading from the Taraka deck, and some of the cards, like from the lower deck or whatever, is that what it's called, the lower deck, seem innocuous. She still made it feel like this is some shit that can happen. You better watch out. For every single one. It was great. But also, like, the deck of many things. Do they
actually make a deck of that? I've heard rumors.
So there's been a lot of other, like, third-party companies that have made physical decks of many things. The deck of many, a literal company, did like some like little 3D holographic cards for spell cards, but they also did it for the deck of many things, and I got that. And there, you should definitely always rig the deck of many things if you're going to run this for your players, and fully deny that you did it as well. Okay, this is what you do. You take the deck and you put it in a box, and I'm on push to talk, so I can't use both hands. Sorry. You put it in a box, and whatever cards you want them to pull, you make sure that's in the lid of the box. So when they shuffle the deck or whatever and put it in the box, then you close it and put whatever cards you want on top.
Nice. I like this. That's
I cannot claim that idea. I'm fairly certain I stole that from Matt Colville in one of his videos.
Well, I mean, if
it's still something that should be passed on if it's not already known.
I'll be watching for that. Someone's watching for that. Oh, never thanks for a reminder. Multiple packs of identical decks and remove the good cards. Oh, Mac, you're an evil dungeon master, my friend. Evil dungeon master. That sounds about right for Mac, though. I mean, like, after all, he creates like dungeon rooms called the Blender. So yeah.
Will it blend? Is his favorite game in D&D.
Absolutely. He's talking about characters. Absolutely. What are some of the other like the Dungeon Master screen itself can be a prop?
Oh no, absolutely. Well, I mean, I did, like, I'm running Ghosts of Saltmarsh for a home game right now, and just hanging stuff on the dungeon on the DM screen is super useful. Whether it's art, initiative trackers, that's a great place to do stuff. Just take some index cards, fold them in half, and throw them on top of the DM screen. That's a great way to manage initiative. But also just being able to hide all your shit behind it and dramatically reveal it is a great way to use your DM screen as a prop, and let you hide all manner of things and roll dice that don't actually mean anything. You're just rolling dice to scare them, and or not, or to let you fudge rolls. It's fine.
The panic point sets in. What else? Let's see.
Superfluous, pointless dice rolls. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
it's just
Mac.
Why is he rolling? Yep. Your characters don't hear me rolling. Quiet you. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Have you ever used what's the thing that's the big hot ticket now? Like coins and gems are now like one of the things that you can pick up now for props. I've used gems, or I've used things that look like basically the colored glass you can pick up at a craft store for gems to represent gems, but not necessarily to say, hey, look at all these gems you have. Look, now you actually can physically hold them, because that's so much fun to do. But I
haven't yet. Yeah. Not yet. It's kind of wanted to. For gems, at least, I would totally love to do that at some point. Coins don't seem as impressive. A lot of players at a point just the gold they have is just a number on the sheet, which I guess throwing out. I think with the big ones, that would actually be make the most impact with the players. If you literally had, now obviously not literally, but a platinum coin, especially at low levels, a couple of platinum coins to really give them a sense of weight, and like, this is a lot of money. This is more money than any of you have ever seen before. Is nice, especially at low levels when they don't have any money. but I haven't done the coins yet. Gems would be really cool. That's a great idea. Just going to Hobby Lobby and getting a bunch of glass shit. That's good.
Yeah, it's worked out okay, and you don't have to use them necessarily for gems. You can use them to represent like an inspiration token or
Use those.
various different effects for other games. It doesn't have to be just. I mean, like Dungeons and Dragons obviously is our forte, but there's other games where you can have like luck points. You can use them for your luck points, stuff like that.
Yeah, I actually have used little brass coins, I guess, for inspiration tokens, just not representing money.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've gotten random coins before, or we have, and I've used them for inspiration coins and tokens, markers.
Yeah, and when we upload this to our YouTubes, you'll see probably the description of some of the places where you can pick up some of this stuff. We're gonna put some stuff on there.
So many links.
Yeah, I mean, like, because we created like the fireworm token, for inspiration. For example, it says inspiration on the other side. We actually give these away on stream. It gets in focus this way. There you go. It says inspiration on it.
And if we get a lot of viewers, Reed's going to shave his head. Tell your friends.
Yeah, 75 viewers. First time we get 75 viewers, I will shave my head. Clean off this ridiculous amount of hair thanks to the current situation in the world. Getting a haircut's kind of hard, but make it hail. We're talking about LARP coinage. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And we're excited to see other ideas from you guys. I mean, from the, obviously Mac has thrown out some great ideas as well. Dice towers that can look a certain way can also, I think, decorating the room can be actually a huge prop as well. Like I've got, the shield and the horn and the skull up there as well. And then we've got, curtains up.
I have a dice tower that looks like a wooden scroll case. That's a nice toy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Haven't ever gotten a chance to use it, but I love it. It's a beautiful piece.
Absolutely.
Or just simply having, flagons at your table.
Oh, and we're big on that. Like my drinking horn's actually being washed right now, so you've seen me at the drinking horn.
Yeah, just having that at the table. Again, it's a mood setting thing.
Dura Mora wants me to give him euros to cut my hair. And I know who that is, and I wouldn't let him near me with even the best of razors. So, I love the community that has sprung up around us. They're some of the best people ever, and they're so funny. Let's see here. Sound. So sound is huge. With sound also comes smart lighting options, stuff like that. If you've got the budget for it or the ability to produce it and put it together. But sound is probably one of the single greatest things you can do that's subtle to do things like that. Like, so early on with some of the stuff we were doing sound on WMD, and we've worked it into the Velkin Weave a little bit too. But just when I'm DMing normal games, I actually work sound in. But I will tell you that it was something that you don't just go in and do. Using a sound pad and stuff like that, you kind of need to play with it a little bit, run some one-shots, get a feel for it, just tell people, look, I'm running this to do this, but also get used to the sound pad.
And you can, easy mode is putting a background track in, having some music playing, or, going on YouTube and finding like the Tavern mix, stuff like that you have going on. And that's great, but because it is the same throughout, it does sort of dull over time. It's great at first, but that is going to kind of, the impact of it's going to peter off, especially if during your game the scene changes but your music is the same. You start in a tavern, that's great, having the tavern mix in the background is awesome. But if you end up in a cave in the Underdark and there's water dripping and monsters growling in the dark, the happy tavern music in the background is not really helping you anymore.
Absolutely. And one of the things I'll say is that I typically have a few things preset. Like, and as an example, just to say it, I'm going to say we at the Games Tavern during our stuff on the Games Tavern use tabletop audio at tabletopaudio.com. We've thanked them on almost every episode. We definitely thank them in the credits for some of the stuff that we do when we post the videos up later. And you can find tabletopaudio.com, and you can also find them on Patreon, and we highly recommend you support them because they do an amazing job.
I've also
We
been a supporter of them for years.
Same here.
He's great. He produces great content, and he doesn't actually require you to pay him to use his stuff. You can actually go onto Tabletop Audio and still use his stuff. But being a patron of his is cheap, and you should if you use his stuff.
And you get
high
access
quality
to some extra stuff too, some different versions of the tracks, which
I use the sound pad, and I used one of the sound pads in my Ghost of Saltmarsh game, one of our last home games we did before we moved digital, and it was great. And I was kind of just adding little sound effects, and the players thought at first that it was just serendipitous events in the soundtrack that was going on, like the crack of the sail, the fire of the cannon, the ring of a bell, whatever. And we're like, wow, this is great coincidence. And when I told them later it was actually me producing those sounds, impressed, yes, but they were like, oh, I just kind of
throw an example up here. Just play
that was just what it was.
Yeah, so that's where you and I differ just a sweet little bit. So unless I've got a lot of prep and I know exactly what scene they're going into, I don't have a lot of the extra sound effects unless it's something that is absolutely like critical to a point, like a monster screaming or like a Godzilla type roar in the distance. Hold on, it doesn't appear to be playing, or it's really quiet.
In my case, I'm doing Ghost of Saltmarsh, and they were at sea for days, and I was really using it to set a mood, and I could see the effect it was having on them in person.
Mm-hmm.
They were really kind of getting into it, noticing, getting the extra senses involved.
Mm-hmm.
That's something you should strive for as a DM, is not just engaging, them looking at the minis or just hearing your description, but adding to the immersion of the scene you're setting. And it was really, honestly, the sound pads he make are super easy to use, and I was doing it on a tablet,
Mm-hmm.
or on my phone or on a laptop, one of those, and it was super easy to use to just pull stuff in briefly and add that extra little bit that really upped the immersion for the players.
Yeah, when we were doing the in studio show, because of that's really what we are, as a studio show. We were using an iPad basically to run that on the studio show, and then when we switched over to this, we basically use a computer now to pipe it in.
It really does lend itself better to a tablet. Even it's honestly easier to use. Just be able to tap it instead of dragging your mouse over.
Yeah, I actually have used because we're streaming. I actually have some stuff preset on a Stream Deck to work as well.
That's awesome.
Which has worked out pretty good. What else do we get here? Makes 100 dance and ambient music plus 5 sound effects is all I can handle. I will say it can be, if you don't know exactly what you're doing and you don't have a lot of experience with it, running every sound effect, like the arrows hitting, stuff like that, you're going to kill yourself trying to do that. Be careful with that. There is a point where it's kind of like that guy who's learning PowerPoint and then puts too much stuff in PowerPoint, or
Yeah, I would say running that during combat is probably a little too much, but running it in a non-combat part of the game,
some timing, you have the room to flip through stuff
you don't have the pressure on you at that point. Running it during non-combat parts of the game really help. I think that's and it's easier for you too, because you're not worried about managing your 24 different things constantly. You don't need to add another one.
Absolutely. And there's other options besides tabletopaudio.com. It's just the one we like. We like it. They're not paying us for any of this. We're just saying that because we love them. What else? Let's see here. Sound with smart homes and smart lighting now, you can actually change the color of the lights in the room that you're in to hit the ambiance you want. So you could do a dark green, kind of green gray kind of mix that kind of ripples. So if you're in a sewer, you can do that. You can do an orangish, reddish kind of glow if you're in a lava cave, blue on the ocean. You got options there as well.
Evoke these different moods, and all from apps for all of it on your phone too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
One day.
Just you wait. We'll see what we can do when we We
Oh yeah.
spin up a real studio one day. So, campfire scented candles can help. Yes, they can. Yeah, the smell of pine in the air. Put the pine scented stuff. Yeah, but actually, that is something you can do, like the battery operated candles for safety, or regular candles if you can do that in your house and feel safe about it. We use battery operated here because of fire code, but just in a studio situation, you don't want to use real fire. I don't trust you.
That's fair.
Corey. You got dangling dry grass coming off your face. If that was in the middle of the thing and you wave over it, then your face is on fire, and it's.
Hey, I'm a chemist. Fire safety is always at the front of my mind.
Yeah, exactly right. I was at a wedding once, and the centerpiece caught fire, and I had to dump it out. It was kind of had the candles a little too close for our own good. Yeah, that was subtle. It's on fire! Dump the water pitcher on it. Everybody's looking at you like, sorry, there's a fire. Wow, you were so fast. No, I just don't like burning.
Something was on fire. You're not supposed to let it burn. It gets worse that way.
Yeah, and then, we were talking about other things, sewer scented, because we've got to create that authentic feeling because of how many times I've sent players into the sewers. So, yeah, I'm going to work on that. I'm going to get the wretched smell of sewage piped into your next game.
It's terrible.
What else? What are some of the props that you guys have used from the audience? If anyone can speak up to that effect, I would love to hear.
Scented candles. That's a great idea.
Yeah, the scented candles. Yeah, I do like that. Or Christmas theme. Just like one of the greatest things you can do is make sure you get real. Save up some budget money for around Halloween, because you don't even have to have a Halloween themed thing, but all the good props, a lot of them come out around Halloween.
I was just thinking holiday themed one shots and the extra you could do with that.
Costumes, all sorts of goodies come out around that time. It's one of the best ways to go.
Yeah,
November 1st is RPG Christmas. But you got to remember also a lot of the good stuff is gone. So,
cheap stuff is now there and available.
Yeah, but there is cheap stuff. Yeah, but you could definitely go in when there's still stuff. But I think in some cases you can actually order some of that stuff year round as well. So it's something to consider.
Oh yeah, that's just that's to get the best deals November 1st.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think let's see here, who else we got? Anybody else here in the audience? Anything specific that you guys have used that you like? Elf ears all day. Okay, I'm down with elf ears.
Yeah, know a lot of frequent elf players that invest in a couple sets of elf ears. A couple, because they get one pair, then they find a pair they like better, and then they find a pair they like better, and then they find a pair that they like better. Mm-hmm. A good friend, Lydia Heels, on Twitter, is a famous elf player. Pretty much only plays elves, and I know she has several pairs of ears.
I'm a big fan of Lydia Heels. We'll have to get her on the show sometime. We'll have to interview Lydia sometime. She's really cool, really chill.
She's awesome.
Yeah. Let's see here. Elf ears all day long. What about non-elf ears? Are there other kinds of ears?
Horns for tieflings.
Horns for tieflings. And again, Halloween coming through.
Another great Halloween day thing.
A tiefling tail once. Okay.
Yeah, she did. And God forbid, glitter for various shiny people. But glitter is the herpes of art supplies, and you should avoid it at all costs.
Because you'll never get it off once you get it on you. It's in everything at that point. Mugs and tankers. Play appropriate music. Do something scent related, if inoffensive. Speak for yourself, Mac. Sewage coming. To make it not feel like it's in a condo. That's it. That's really it.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, the sound, the sense, the accoutrement at the table. I think Mac had also said earlier up in the chat. Bowls instead of plastic bags for your snacks. Having some wooden bowls for your various chips and pretzels and whatever you got at the table is great instead of the crinkly bags.
Especially if you're streaming and you have a microphone, I might add. Because crinkle, 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 crinkle ain't cool.
It's like, just open the bag. Just open it and empty it all on the table. Just rip that Band-Aid off.
Mac is like using the word control as many of the player senses, and you make it easier to suspend disbelief.
let's say influence.
Influence, yeah. I can see Mac people strapping people into like long boards that are vertical and
looks like a Clockwork Orange with the
yeah.
eyes back, making them watch.
You see a brick room. Mac, if you don't like it, it's your fault for making us host today. Just saying. We love you, bro. But they believe it. You just type, but they believe it. Oh, that's so awesome, Mac.
Yeah.
All right. So, hey, guys, we're going to take a quick, 5-minute break. When we come back, we're going to talk about how far we've come in just under 6 months, some of the things that you might see coming up, and get some input from you guys as our audience. And that'll be the second half of the show, and we hope to hear your inputs as well. And again, check us out on Discord. Hopefully someone will post something about that here soon. You'll get a chance to tell us more about what you like during the show being off the air, and hit us up and give us some input as well. All right, guys. So we're going to come right back. And we're back from our break. Thanks for hanging out and watching that screen. We'll try to get a better one out going ready next time. I know that Mac has some great ones as well. But today it was being run by me, so sorry. Anyway, Corey.
We're doing okay.
Corey, this next segment, which I'm really kind of wistful about as well as excited about, is we're going to talk a little bit about how far we've come over the last almost 6 months. And then we're going to look at, what's coming in the future that we can talk about without spoilers or anything like that as well. So,
okay, so no spoilers. Got it. All right.
No spoilers. So, where all the gold is, some of those cameos that you've talked about doing, stuff like that. And that interview on Saturday Night Live that we talked about. None of that. No?
Right.
Oh, wait, you didn't do that.
Sure. Yeah.
So, for those who don't know, this journey actually started months before streaming actually occurred. It wasn't, so when we say 6 months, 6 months is 6 months since we started streaming. There was an entire year before this we were trying to get stuff in place to figure out, like, is this a viable thing? Is this kind of fun for us to do? Is it going to take away from the fun? And then as we started putting it together, we were just going to do one show. And then we said, well, why not do 2 shows? Why not do more than 2 shows? What else can we do? And we started looking at what was possible. And, we started, playing together beforehand and everything else. And then the next thing you know, we're putting a stream together. And then another stream right behind that, 3 weeks later, you guys dropped. And then
Sounds about right.
We started doing the paint shows and stuff like that too. And it's been a crazy, wild trip. I mean, like, the amount of stuff we did, we put together a studio and a location and props in the background and music, and tried to create like a show environment that was exciting, where a person felt like they were sitting down at the table with us, watching the game. And then we tried, well, what else can we do? Let's look at things like, can we do a battle cam? Can we do a map cam? And show that stuff.
Like to.
Yeah, and then Corey, you and your wife had moved out here from Texas, if I recall.
Yeah.
And we found you because we actually kind of put out the word, hey, we're looking to put together a second show. We're looking for the right people. And you actually reached back out.
Yeah, somebody I follow on Twitter had retweeted your tweet that you were looking in the Northern Virginia area for for somebody that would want to play on a stream, and I was like, hell yeah, I would.
Yeah,
I don't ever get to play. Yeah, I'd love to.
And we got hit up by a number of different people, and we were able to, sort through the people who were serious and understood this wasn't just like, hey, make it when you can. If you can't make it, that's okay. No, this is like, hey, we're doing this. We're actually making a run for it, and
needs a commitment.
A real one. But we still have real lives. I mean, we have people who get sick or have family issues, or like Mac today.
Stuff happens.
He had a personal issue and he had to handle it. So, so he couldn't get set up to broadcast. But I mean, he's still supporting us on text, or at least harassing us a little bit there. And I expect that harassment to start any minute now with Mac, knowing Mac. And
well, you said his name 3 times now, so
so now it's like Bloody Mary. He's just going to appear. Yeah. See, he's in your house. Creepy. But we really did have some challenges when we first started up. I mean, staffing conflicts, scheduling conflicts, just getting everybody herded in the right place, and everything.
A good common night for everybody for each show, and getting DMs, getting story set up, stuff like that. Yeah,
having a hard line on when we weren't going to stream regularly as well. Like, we do one-shots on Saturdays, but those are never... as of right now, by policy, we are not continually doing Saturday one-shots.
Those aren't planned in advance unless Mac tricks you into playing for more than one day in a row.
Yeah.
There we go.
Talk about that. Yeah. There's that triple shot.
Is it a quadruple now? Is it a 4-pack?
I believe it's about to become a 4-shot. I have a feeling he's going to be running a full 6-shooter by the time he gets done with this dungeon, but I will not be in the next one. right now. Unfortunately, I have other commitments, but yeah, surprise campaign. Yeah, no, yeah. Thanks, Mac. But and then like learning how to do this, and I'll give a shout out to Scaredy Ginge, who absolutely, without her, we could not have figured out how to do any of this stuff. She was absolutely, and still is, a wonderful human being who's taught us so much and really has upped our knowledge. Because like, just trying to figure out how to make this thing, like, how do I make it stream? But I can't make it do the stream button. Why haven't they got the, and it did, come together, and then learning how to do overlays, and then like even then, like we're 3 months in, and then Mac shows me how if I push a certain button, I can resize frames on these things. And I'm like, I wish I had known that. And he goes, "You didn't do that this entire time?" And I was like, No, I had no idea.
Well, and then us on Wednesday night have definitely benefited from y'all on Thursday getting started a little bit ahead of us.
Oh yeah, we like to think of ourselves as the experimentation group,
which didn't necessarily eliminate all the technical problems, but it definitely alleviated them. There's every stream, even if it's on the same channel, is going to have its own unique issues. Just because of Murphy's Law, it's going to happen.
I mean, voice today is, for whatever reason, I actually used the same setting that I normally use, and it didn't take the first time, but then when I rebooted Discord, it definitely worked. I'm not sure.
Yeah, didn't want to listen to me at first, but I eventually tricked it into taking my voice later. Yeah.
I mean, that's what it takes, buddy. Sometimes.
Have to believe, and the machines will eventually work.
From your perspective, because you came in a little fresher from some of the folks who've been, like some of these people I've played with for well over a year, like Bope.
Oh, well,
I actually have played with them for over a year.
Even for the Velkin Weave, I'm the newbie. Like the night I showed up, I had no idea everybody had already made characters and played a couple sessions.
That's right.
Like,
yeah.
I thought I was coming in to do character creation with everybody, so I really did not have a character made yet. So that first night, I was like, okay. So literally, Eldon was born in like 10 minutes with me on my phone. With spotty reception in the basement, putting together the character sheet for Eldon there. Yeah, so that was an adventure, but I'm really happy with how he turned out. That was just really
it seemed to be like just
it's
magical how that fit.
It really was, because I was like, I got there, I was like, oh, this is what everybody's playing. Guess I'll play a druid. That seems like a good fit for this party.
And you've taken to it like a storm.
It's been great.
Yeah. And then everybody, obviously embraced you very quickly. It was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it's been very cool. Like I definitely got the impression like, oh yeah, some of these guys know each other a little better already. They've been playing together for a while, but they've all been great and very welcoming, as have all the folks on the Thursday night show too. Even though I still haven't met half of them in person yet. I think it's just you and Max so far. I think I haven't met Prem or Rob in person yet at all.
Oh. Well,
but being on the Discord is near as close as we can get right now, and it's been fantastic.
It actually is, isn't it? Yeah. We've been doing a lot of talking on Discord now lately, and actually we'll probably have to do a kind of a town hall on Discord.
a state of the tavern.
When we started, we had a Discord actually when we started, and there was like all of like 15 people on it. Now there's close to 300 something people on there. It's pretty crazy.
Activities ranging from every 5 minutes to once every 3 months, and everything in between. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't judge.
No, I mean, life is life. You do what you got to do. But happy to have all the amazing folks that are on there every day too.
There's some great tech crew. They've been really keeping things up to go.
Met some amazing people through here from all over the country on the Discord that I get to interact with every day, and makes my life better. So,
definitely. And in the last 2 weeks, both shows have hit their double digits now. They're in their 10th and 11th episodes, respectively.
Holy crap! That's just the stream.
Yeah. So
So really, we hit our double-digit episode.
You hit it last week. We hit it this week.
we had our sessions
Yeah.
before. Yeah. It's wild.
Mm-hmm. And you guys are skipping this week. DM Cecil's got a thing, I think. So you guys are actually doing a one shot this week. You guys are doing the Call of Cthulhu one shot.
Yes, DM Pond, Carly, who we met through her joining our Discord, is gonna run myself and Mac and Richard and Tom, who plays Bope, through a very, I hope, beginner Call of Cthulhu one shot.
Mm-hmm. And she came about.
We're doing that tomorrow. Yeah.
And that reminds me, we now have like people who've become really amazing supporters who have wound up becoming parts of shows or invited onto shows and stuff like that. Carly got her start with us being a huge supporter, and then she got elevated to moderator, and then she actually got invited onto some of the one shots, and she did well there. And actually, one of the happy hours, she came on one of the happy hours, and she was running. I think she's running a Strahd campaign. Aren't you in that?
Yeah, we talked about that earlier with the Taraka deck. Yeah, she's running we're not streaming it. It's just her running Curse of Strahd for a couple of us here in Virginia. Mm-hmm. Her out in Mountain Time, and then somebody and one of our other tavern regulars out on the Pacific Coast. She's just popped into one of our looking for group channels and said she'd be interested in running Strahd, and I jumped on it because Strahd has been something I've wanted to play forever. Well, okay, not forever. For like 3 years at least. Like mm-hmm. I've been DMing a lot. I did not want to DM Strahd. I wanted to play in Strahd just from all of the hype I heard and all the cool shit and moments you see on Twitch and on the internet. Like I just wanted to play in that, and so grateful that she's running that campaign.
There's
having a great time.
I actually did I did the Death House. And the guy who ran it was actually Josh, the guy who plays Quentin on your show.
Yeah.
And I bet you if you put DM Pond and Josh together, that show would be amazing.
So we didn't actually do Death House. She started us at level 3. So we skipped Death House, and she shunted us into Barovia pretty quick. It's been like, why are we here? My character has been like that this entire time. I'm playing a very taciturn Furbolg barbarian.
I want out. I'm done now.
This place sucks. Can we leave now?
And that's just talking about some of the people who've come on, and there's a few others who've made moderator as well, and eventually they may come onto the show if they show that they want to do that as guests on some of the other stuff. And that's been really exciting to watch the Discord grow. So speaking of Discord, some of the cool things that have already started and are now coming in is emotes are starting to show up on Discord. And they're also starting to show up on Twitch.
Same ones?
Yeah, we make sure that they're the same ones. So whatever we release on Twitch will show up on Discord. We have the option to load a lot more on Discord, but we'll probably keep it pretty even. For now, we may add. I think the only thing we added on to the Discord one right away was the show emotes that have the cool show logos on there.
Icons. Yep.
Yeah, but coming to Twitch as well. Some places have channel points. We call our channel points Tavern points, and we're looking into how people can use those. We've seen other shows use them where they can, drop inspiration in and give rerolls to people. We don't necessarily want to impact some things that we're already working on for story that much, because there may be some things that the DM wants to do that would just absolutely wreck their plan, or it might actually mess up what a character is supposed to do as well that a character might want to do. So we're avoiding things where it impacts the show like that, where you have an immediate tactical impact. We're looking more along the lines of things like name an NPC or create other opportunities like that, or name a cocktail.
Which other streams have shown great success with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great idea. I think the name an NPC thing is dangerous but hilarious.
Well, it has to still be within the terms of service, and it has to be in good taste. We're not going to do something that's going to
asterisk the hell out of that. Yeah.
We're just not going to. Yeah. If it shows up on a men's room stall, it may have to get validated first.
Yes.
But,
Then we'll have to check with our youth correspondents to see if it's just slang us old people don't understand yet.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly.
Watch out. Gotta watch out.
And with those emotes and those tavern points, the people, obviously our supporters and followers will have a say so in that. Also, our Patreon supporters will also have some say so in what emotes are coming. They'll also have the opportunity to impact and vote on what's going to happen with tavern points up to a point. We want to make sure it's balanced and not too overwhelming for both the people who are trying to play in their game as well as the people watching, so it's not something that basically wrecks new players' experiences or new watchers' experiences as well.
Right.
Yeah. Do you have anything you'd like to see for an emote?
I want a cowboy hat emote.
Cowboy hat? A halfling with a cowboy hat?
Doesn't even have to be a halfling. I would be satisfied with just literally a cowboy hat emote.
I think we can arrange that, partner.
I would love that.
I think we can do that right nicely for you.
Reckon so?
And then something that will happen before 2021 is there will be a website for the Games Tavern. You will see all sorts of stuff. It should have a wiki on it that you'll be able to work with or reference. It should have stats. It should have blog. It should have some other cool stuff. I'm not going to reveal all the details, but we're trying to make sure that it's a great, enjoyable experience that you can come to and find all sorts of cool stuff to do.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, what are you hoping to see on stuff like that? Anything?
Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to filling in Eldon's entry.
Just a pair of legs sticking out from a 10-gallon hat. I think that works.
Just.
Some of the other things that are coming for the next 6 months is you'll see the story is going to grow as well. The various stories for the different live streams, you'll see that those will continue to develop. There's a lot planned with those stories by the DMs themselves. In addition to just exciting combat action, we're trying to raise the bar.
There's been a lot of foreshadowing in both campaigns.
Absolutely.
Of some amazing and terrifying shit in the future.
Especially in the Velkin Weave. They definitely have got terrifying down.
More terrifying, yeah. A lot of terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, distraction. Don't forget about this terrifying thing behind you. Oh, right.
But the different shows are going to continue to grow. You'll see more plot points. You may see some additional new cool guests appearing in some of the shows. You might see a new cast member appear in a show. Not saying which one, but something may be coming.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In addition to that, you'll see some crossovers potentially, and I won't say any more about crossovers, but crossovers are going to be amazing. And you're going to see cool stuff. One of the I don't know about you from your perspective, but from my perspective, the evolution between each and every show has improved and tightened things up. And
yeah, I mean we've had some setbacks, but they've all been from technological standpoints, really. Like, we need to adapt to this very new scenario very quickly tonight. And
we
pull it off. We switched to doing our online game fairly suddenly. Then one night we're like, Zoom's not working for anybody. We've got to do this on all on Discord video now
with 15 minutes notice or less. Yeah.
And maybe running a little late, but we still got it going. You know what?
We did. We actually did. We
still made it work.
Yeah,
made it work.
And just as we were evolving and getting really good at studio play, we had to switch to all remote, and suddenly we had to get and we've been getting better and better with remote play, as challenging as that's been.
Yeah, folks have really embraced it. Like the various like Snapcam filter stuff. It's been hilarious to see that added in, and but it's a nice welcome addition. We're not perfect, but I think we're definitely improving every time.
Speaking of snap camera failures.
Yeah.
I'm Cacadac. Give me your soul. Anyway,
I think you're gonna give Anna a conniption in the back. You're gonna give her like PTSD with that. Like,
and that's also some of the evolution that we've done. Like so many people on the team have stepped up to take on other roles that they weren't used to. People stepping into the moderator role just from our Discord has been phenomenal. But like the different cast members, like
Mac doing this show for starters.
Yeah, this was actually something we were discussing, and actually, when we originally proposed this, it was something I was going to host, and Max said, "No, let me take it." I'm like, "Here you go!" And he's created this amazing show concept and format. He actually created some additional overlays. I said, just come up with at least 6 episodes beforehand, so at least have an idea of a concept and stuff, and then we'll talk about some other things that we can do with it later. And now we're
sure he's got more than that going already.
Oh yeah. Well, there's some interviews that are going to be coming up as well between him and Rob that we've already kind of scheduled, or we're in progress of scheduling. The people being interviewed have already said that they're interested.
Awesome.
Some names that you may recognize from the industry, as well as some that you may not, but you will later. Just some great people, and if anyone can interview someone, it's Mac. And we'll see what happens with that. I'm kind of excited about that, to be honest.
If anyone can do it, Mac can do it. Yeah.
Mac actually can interview well. Actually, one of the things that I can say is that I've already got some of the people on the list, and one of the people said, I will be there for that interview. I want to be in on that interview when that happens. Like I've been really excited about some of that.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah. What else is coming up in the next? I mean, like, do you have anything you want to drop on anybody?
I'm not sure. Like, being a player now, I'm not privy to like behind the screen information. I don't know if I have anything I can drop right now.
Ooh.
And it's really from a purely ignorance standpoint.
Don't worry. You've already stepped up, like you stepped up behind the scenes to help get the episode set up for what we're doing, and you helped QC. You've spotted something. I'm going to be fixing that later today. Hopefully nobody caught it yet.
Helping with some technical issues.
And then Anna stepped in, and she's actually editing some of the stuff to get it ready for upload to YouTube, and
right.
It's been pretty wild. So,
it's a team effort, man. Yeah,
absolutely. What else? We're looking at some how-to videos on how to do various things. So, like when we talk about making props, like the chest that I showed earlier, we're going to show you how to get the chest, how to stain it, and how easy it is to give it an antique look or style. We'll talk about how we actually do these things with wax. We'll show you how to actually do wax seals, and how to set up your maps and stuff like that too, and how not to burn yourself. Kind of an important key here to that.
Remember, heat rises.
Yeah, molten wax is still molten wax. Something to think about. What else is coming up? Merch. There's some discussions already coming up. There's some people who've made some suggestions. We're interested in merch, and we're interested in your ideas of some of the cool things you'd like to get that have merch on it. I mean, we already have a WMD dice tray available. There will be a Velkin Weave dice tray coming up here pretty soon. There'll be some stuff with characters. We're looking at more character art as well, and some other cool props, like potion jars with dice in them, stuff like that. So, really slick things you can leverage yourself with. But I don't want to say any more. T-shirts obviously are going to come. We're really excited about some of the T-shirts because we're nerds. And we like T-shirts.
T-shirts are great. I've dabbled in dice making a little bit. We'll see.
Ooh-wee. Maybe that'll be a giveaway.
Something bespoke,
Yeah. Well, speaking of giveaways, the giveaways are coming back. So we're going to be doing more with the inspiration tokens. And if we hit 75 viewers, we'll be starting to give away dice trays every show too. Maple, oak, other woods that are really slick. Same with the inspiration tokens. You'll be getting access to those. Those are actually made of real wood as well. They're really, really well done.
And if we had 75 viewers, you'd be able to see them in the reflection on Reed's head.
Or at least until the hair grows back. I'm only shaving it once. Only shaving it once. Let's see here. What else? Well, if everything clears up, we'll be doing some Ren Fair trips probably that will be recorded and then dropped in. You guys will see some of that stuff as you see the nerds go out to the various different Ren Fairs that are local to the East Coast. Cons.
Yeah. Went to Maryland Ren Fair last fall. That was great.
Yeah, we did too. It was really phenomenal. I was excited to take part with that. Let's see here.
Yeah, the con schedule for the immediate future is, of course, empty. But one day it'll repopulate, and we'll be there.
We will be wearing all sorts of accoutrements and speaking with ridiculous accents that Mac will coach us on. Oh, dude, let me tell you, he's got real body armor. I mean, he's got real armor. He's got everything.
Oh, I know he does. From his
amazing.
LARPing days, he's got legit stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. What else is coming up this year? We'll probably do a lot more with miniatures, painting, and there may be a return of the battle cam. The local DM may have a separate thing for that. We're looking at some other cool things to do with the stream itself.
Yeah, we're going to try out some electronic options possibly for battle cams. It's just trying to find a good fit right now that's slowing us down in that regard. So hopefully, in the future that'll help smooth things out a little bit.
The greatest thing has been the people that have come to us and shared their knowledge. So if you are knowledgeable and you know stuff, well, that means we're not too proud that we won't listen to somebody who knows what they're talking about.
We are all far from perfect people because we're people. So if you know something that we don't, or if you know something you think we don't, feel free to tell us.
Definitely. Please tell us. Like if you can't hear someone on the stream. Or
much appreciated.
Broken. Yeah.
Thanks, dear.
Yeah,
or if I misspeak, taking credit for something my wife did. Thanks, dear.
Wives are really good about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll bet.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else is coming up in the next year. I don't want to speak too much. You'll probably see more costumes. You'll see some more themed one-shots I know are coming up for the upcoming season. Yeah, you got forgiven. She forgave you. I see it in chat.
There's a lot of folks that are experienced DMs and through cast, crew, and others throughout the Discord that I have ideas. So there's gonna be lots of random one-shots. The Saturdays without one-shots are, I think, going to be the rare ones in the near future.
We'll see. We got some exciting stuff coming. And there may, if everything comes together, I'm not saying it's happening for sure yet, but we are working on a third show concept that we've been kicking around for a little bit. I don't know if it's going to come together or not, especially with because it was really a studio concept, I think.
Would that technically be a fifth show, or just mean third?
A third live play show. Sorry, a fifth show, but a third live play show.
Gotcha.
We don't know yet. There's still some details to work out on that. That was originally going to be a studio show, so now we're, how it is. We're looking at everything. So.
Like, do we hold off? Do we go ahead and try and give it a shot now? Nothing's been decided yet.
Yeah. And also, we're gonna be definitely posting some polls throughout the next few months to get a feel for what you guys would like to see, because the Games Tavern really is about the gamers that are in it. We're looking at other game types and styles. We're looking at card games. We're looking at board games. We're looking at tabletop miniatures, war games, to see what's possible and bring that content to you as well. So that's going to be an exciting change.
Yeah. What stuff do y'all want to see us attempt to do?
Besides shave my head.
Yeah, we've already made one promise regarding that. We're not gonna stack the deck against him. That's just not fair.
Please don't. Otherwise, we're shaving your head next.
I may shave my own head soon. I'm not tired of this. Hair's longer than it's been in a long time. It's hard to tell with the headset on right now, but it's a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah. Let's see here. Anyone else? Let's see here. I'm not seeing anybody else saying anything here. I'd love to hear some more from the audience, but I don't know if we're really going to get a lot of substantive statements today about what they want to see in the next 6 months. Is there anything you'd love to see in a show, or is there a new cast member concept you'd like to see?
Please don't request Matt Mercer. He's busy. I'm sorry. Like
He's very busy.
We can't get him. Or any of the cast of Critical Role. Going to go and throw that out there.
No, yeah. Yeah. I mean, if they came onto our show at that point, that would be because we were actually cool. So, as engineers and nerds, I don't know that we
would have progressed a lot further if they're coming on our show.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good idea. We should do. Art Klein said we should maybe do a poll of
one shots that people would like to see more of. Yeah, we can definitely
one shot. Doesn't have to be a D&D. Obviously, this week we're doing Call of Cthulhu. Mac has done Dungeon Crawl Classics in the past already.
Star Wars. We did a Star Wars one.
We done Star Wars.
You can see that on YouTube.
That Star Wars one was great. But yeah, if there's another system that you'd like to see us try and fumble through, I bet we could find a DM that would run some of us through it
as a one shot.
Or if there's just some classic module you'd like to see us get killed by, or
Tomb of Horrors,
or let Mac draw into a full campaign, feel free to throw that in there. Well, that's a great idea. I think we could probably do that. More Star Wars.
I will tell you that I heard a rumor that more Star Wars may be coming.
That Star Wars was fun. Not gonna lie, those dice are janky as hell, but I like that game a lot.
Invite guests onto TVW or WMD. That is going to happen, but that will be something that the DM will have a better handle on. I will not speak for that because the DM has to kind of say when that's going to slip in. Have a contest where a winner gets to stream with us. I would say that's a very big possibility. Not next week, but sometime there will be something like that.
It's not happening tomorrow necessarily, but it could. Okay.
I will tell you, it will help if you are already in a Discord. It doesn't have to be ours, but you need to be in Discord if you're going to stream with us. So you should at least have Discord on your system and be somewhat aware of it.
That's our current system we're using. You got to be able to use it at least a little bit. Mm-hmm. At least have it already installed, ideally.
Absolutely. What else? Let's see here. Kobolds Ate My Baby. Yep. Kobolds Ate My Baby is definitely a possibility. That sounds like something that Mac would type. It is a game that Mac will run.
All right. Yeah. I saw one. It's like kobolds from space. I think something like that. It was ridiculous. Like this module was written like comic book format. It was hilarious.
Oh really?
Yeah, something like that. God, that's been since August, I think, since I've seen that. So I'd have to go dig that out of my archive.
Oh, that's so funny. That is so funny. Well, I'm kind of just trying to figure out what else to mention. Couple things. The new emotes were done by Regi. You can see Regi on our Discord. You can say hi to her. She's amazing and she's very talented.
Her definitely, art is the stuff that we feature during breaks.
Some of it, yeah. Some of
her art is featured. So you'll see her Twitter tag there and her work in our art channel as well on Discord.
If you're an artist and you want to have your work featured, you can send it to us via email at art@thegamestavern.com and just mention your Twitter handle or your Instagram handle or whatever other social media you are on, and we will make sure that shows up as well so that we can take care of you. It's great that you have to give us permission to use it, of course. Sometimes we reach out to artists that we really like because we want to get the word out about them as well, but obviously any chance we get to showcase art that helps the artists out there get the word out about what they're doing, we're very interested in it. Let's see here. All the Goblin modules for Pathfinder. Okay, yeah, we could do that. I'm all about goblins.
We Be Goblins is a hilarious Pathfinder module. I actually did play that once long ago, and half of us died. It was hilarious. It was fantastic.
Half of you died.
And the other half did some truly shameful things that should not be repeated on a public stream. Okay.
Oh, that's funny. I know that goblins are some terrible creatures when given to mischief. So, what what is something that you think is going to be the big surprise for the year?
Getting to play in studio again.
Yeah, yeah.
uh, a big surprise for the year in the campaigns would be a character death. I don't know if it would happen, but if that happened, that would be a big surprise for me. In either, like, really, 5e can be so forgiving sometimes. So when it happens, it is impactful. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oof.
Yeah, true. Character death is a very real possibility in all of our games. Like one of the things that we definitely said when everybody on the outset is it's a brutal world. It's a brutal world.
Yeah, you shouldn't delude yourself into thinking you have plot armor, which is
Mm-hmm.
uh, and other streams have shown that that's true. Even for streams where people can get invested in characters, like stuff can happen. Your plan may not be foolproof, and you may pay the price for that.
And Reed would not spare us. Someone put DM Reed. Oh, Amber Anna said that. You're right. I won't because Reed's just the dungeon master. I'm not the one who kills you. It's the monster or your bad decision making when you play in my games. I'm just the guy telling you what you see.
Don't worry, Anna. Kakadak may save you still.
He's not your friend. Kakadak is not your friend. But DM Cecil's the same way. He's he's got tricks up his sleeve too, and I'm kind of excited to see what he does next.
I think he's lured us into a false sense of security.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Very much so. So at this point, Action Sturge, thank you for following us. I see that you're on the channel. Glad to have you here today.
Thank you.
We're just about to wrap up the Games Tavern Happy Hour and talk about some things. By the way, I'm having a nice icy beverage. Are you, my friend? Cheers. Happy hour. All right.
Cheers indeed.
Oh, so nourishing. So nourishing.
Liquid dinner.
Mm-hmm. So we should be doing some more of those. I think we'll have some. We're working on a list of RPG themed cocktails that we could bring up during some of the shows and stuff like that.
Nice.
You'll see them featured in the show, in the live streams, and then we'll show you how to make them in the happy hour. Maybe. Yeah.
I have too many copper mugs up in my cabinet right now, for the record. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you can never have too many. I need at least two, one for each.
For all I use them, It's
and really, I think that's the biggies at this point. So Tavern points, emotes, websites, story, different shows, guests, new cast are coming, crossovers, trips, how-to videos, more guests, and then merch is coming. So I'm kind of excited to see everything hit all at once. And with that,
it's going to be a wild ride.
Throw any final statements in from the audience. We'd love to hear from them. Thank you so much for watching us. Let's hear if the audience actually puts in anything. We have a couple. Ooh, bad burn.
It's related to something we'd said earlier, I think. I missed it.
Yeah. Oh, we're awesome. Hey,
thank you.
I don't disagree. I think that you have amazing choices of who is awesome for that person who said that. Let's see here. We have a couple questions. The other thing to mention is that I will say that you will see more plot twists coming than you will not see the plot twist coming more often than not. And you will see it hasn't. We've been very lucky. We've stayed quarantined. It's one of the reasons we all stopped going to the studio. It has affected some of our friends and family. We're not really going to get into that. That's not really what this show's about. I appreciate the question, but it's just not what we're going to focus our show on.
Thank you for asking, though. Appreciate it.
We do appreciate it. Let's see here. Copper mugs, yes, they're delicious. We use them on the shows whenever we can. I think you're going to find a little more flavor being added as we go as well. That's also going to be hot as you see the different aspects of the Sword Coast and Toril and Faerun and then the greater world around it.
And us just getting more comfortable with doing the online streaming is letting us do more stuff the more comfortable we get. It's letting us add more bits that we would have probably only reserved for the studio, but we're figuring out how to do online. So we're growing.
Remember, they're not dolls, they're miniatures.
That's right.
That's right. All right. Okay, guys, thanks very much. Do you have anything you want to add, Corey, about your upcoming Call of Cthulhu game tomorrow?
You should expect something along the lines of, I believe, Mobsters versus Monsters.
Ooh. How quick are you guys going to go crazy?
It depends on how much brain some of these folks have. We'll find out.
Okay. I'm excited to watch Call of Cthulhu tomorrow, Wednesday, in place. It's a one-shot to allow the DM to take a personal break for a week. And you guys are going to be excited tomorrow to see that. We'll have a pretty cool overlay set up for it as well. So
it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to losing all sanity and embracing the darkness.
Embrace the darkness.
I've been preparing for it for a couple months now, so it's fine.
All right. Any other questions? If not, thank you guys so much for watching us today. You're watching the Games Tavern Happy Hour. We're on every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Normally hosted by Mac, the Dungeon Maxter, as we sometimes refer to him when he actually runs games on the one-shots. And he's been wonderful, but he's blessed me with the opportunity to host and Corey the opportunity to also host as well today. And it was about the time to talk about what's coming and just discuss props in general. If you guys have insights or ideas for the one shot, just go to our Discord. Invites have been dropped consistently in the channel to allow you guys to find our Discord. In chat, you can scroll up.
We love input from the community.
Absolutely. It's the community that makes us do what we do. We're excited for you guys because we love providing this content for you as you sit at our game tables on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And of course, we're open-minded. We love to talk to our community as well. So, all right. With that, I will see you guys. Tomorrow on what would normally be the Welcome Week, what is going to be a Call of Cthulhu themed show, and then Thursday we have Whiskey, Magic, and Destruction continuing on from where they left off, which I believe was they just left the Temple of Gond, and we're figuring out what's going on, or something is up. Something is up. They're in the middle of an intrigue plot at this point. It should be. And then, if I could just get confirmation from the Dungeon Maxter, if he's watching, are we running the Saturday one-shot Tomb of Horrors continuation? Is it going to become a 4-shot? The triple shot going to become a 4-shot? We'll see if he actually is checking us out. There's a slight delay, so. Blender room activated. Yep, looks like it's going to run. So that will tell us all we need to know.
Cheers, folks.
Yeah, take care, guys. Bye. See you guys next week.